What is up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and this is our weekly episode of Indie Newcomer. Today we're going to be playing Steam Marines, a roguelike by Worthless Bums. If you like this game after you watch me play it for a little bit, you can purchase it through Desura for $9.99. Let's get started, and we'll sort of talk about what the game is as we go along. So, Steam Marines is a roguelite. As I said, the roguelike moniker has been thrown around a little bit hastily lately, and I feel like anything with permadeath that's really hard is being classified as a roguelike nowadays. I would say that this game is a turn-based strategy that kind of marries certain roguelike parts, so you can grab items, you can move things around, you have to memorize lots of keybinds, but at the same time, it's more of a strategy game than anything else. It's a quick-play strategy game. Let's start a new game. And we're going to be playing on the normal difficulty. There are a lot of difficulties. If you beat it, you can start with hard, and then there's one beyond that as well. The game is in beta development right now, so it is constantly changing, and this is one of those games that I decided to feature based on the fact that I have seen tons and tons of advancements within this game over time. The initial version that I purchased a while back is completely different than the version they're fielding now, and that's a good thing. It means the developers are showing that they're willing to follow through with their project and make sure that it reaches completion. A wonderful, beautiful, kind of glassy product at the end that's nice and shiny. They've gone and they've kind of polished it up. So anyways, let's go with the normal game, and here you get to decide who your squad is going to be. Your squad can be any configuration of 4 classes, so if you want to bring 4 scouts, bring 4 scouts. But let's talk about what each of them does, and today we're going to be doing a balanced group so that you can see what everything does as we play through. First and foremost, we have the leader class. He has a shotgun with knockback, and typically you want him to be in the front because he gains you a little bit of ground, and since this game is largely about positioning, you really want him to be bumping the enemy around and keeping them out of the way of your squishier units. His name shall be Bumble. I don't know if he bounces or not. He might. Our second character is the Scout. The Scout has a huge amount of AP and can move around the battlefield at warp speed. Additionally, the Scout has a ridiculous sniper rifle that does loads of damage and is ultra accurate. The bullet goes through enemies, meaning if the enemies line up for you, you can kill 4 to 5 enemies at the same time with a lucky shot. The downside, he pretty much gets one-shotted instantly if anything touches him. He has no armor whatsoever. He's got a glass jaw like crazy. He is the first guy in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Glass Joe, I believe. His name is going to be Bimble. And our third character is the Grenadier. The Grenadier is kind of unique, and he requires a little bit of explanation. The Grenadier fires an AoE. No matter what he does, he comes with a grenade launcher, and he does AoE damage in a 3x3 box. Now, what's so unique about that? Well, only the thing at the center can be killed. So the enemy at the center of the box can be killed by his grenade, but everything in the outer edges cannot be killed. It can only be reduced to 1 HP. This includes friendly fire, which sort of begs the point that if your units are at 1 HP, you want to use them for friendly fire. Since he can't kill them anyways, you can leave them in combat and just sort of hit them with grenades over and over and over again, and nothing terrible will happen. Now, you can use perks to get rid of that, but I tend to leave it because it's useful. His name is Bomble. And then finally, we have our support class. The support class does a lot of debuffs, a lot of buffs, uses a light machine gun, doesn't deal a ton of damage, but is pretty much balanced in all ways. They bring a lot to the table, but at the same time, he tends to be the first one I get rid of so that I can have 2 scouts, because as of right now, the scout tends to be a little bit OP. If you're running 4 scouts, you will probably do just fine in this game. Let's go ahead and rename him, and his name is going to be Bamble. And there it is. We'll accept our new squad. We're going to skip through the cinematic right now and get straight to the gameplay because I spent a little bit of extra time just sort of talking about things and I'd like to play. So here it is right here. If you want to see all the commands that go into the game, you can hit the T key. And I'm going to leave this, if you want to pause it and look through all the different options, I'm not going to explain them all as we play through because this is sort of a light preview of the beta state of the game. Your characters do talk to each other. They have little conversations. There's a lot of humor in this game. That's one of the things you'll notice as you go through is there are a lot of pop culture references. There are references to Aliens, to Predator, because I think that's what this game is modeling itself after. You're moving through a derelict ship and people are getting picked off one by one. So if you're looking for a game that really captures that Aliens versus Predator versus Colonial Marines type feeling, this will be the turn-based strategy for you. Now that you've paused it, you looked at all the commands, let's be on our way. We can use the tab key to kind of give an arbitrary turn-based action. We don't have to go in any particular order based on, you know, speed or dexterity or anything like that. Basically, we can run through and we can do anything in any arbitrary order that we want. I tend to start with my scout. Now, if you take a look at our characters, you'll see a blue number down in the bottom left by each of them. That is their AP. Every action you undertake takes 1 AP, with the exception of reloading your gun, which ends their turn instantly. If you have to reload, your turn is done. It doesn't matter how much AP you have, so you tend to want to reload at the end of every turn. Now, the only thing blocking you off from that is if you look down here, there's your gun right there. If you reload, you lose all of the ammo that's left in the original clip. So you sort of want to ride the line, and it becomes a fine balance of when do you reload versus when do you just hope that you only need 2 bullets for the next turn. Additionally, we can kick through walls, which takes 1 AP. All the environments are fully destructible. The AI can destroy the environments as well. So the battlefield tends to do sort of a Battlefield Bad Company 2 type thing, where the battlefield gets rearranged and destroyed as you go through the level. Without further ado, let's start playing. I'm going to be using the keyboard today. You can use the mouse to do it, but I think the game plays a little bit better with the keyboard. That's just my preference. So let's take control of Private Bimble and let's have a look around. Our scout, if you see this thing right here, let me point it out for you, that's a weapons locker, and if we get into it, there's 688 credits. You'll see that our number has updated here at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. This episode might run to like the 30-minute mark just because I do want to show the game off, and let's have him pop this door open and we'll see what's out here. There's blood stains on the floor. That's no good. And we've also got well, we started in a room with a dead Marine. I don't know if we murdered that guy, like he said something about our mother that was just off-colored, or if whatever's on this deck got him first, but in any case, he's dead as hell and he's also wearing a goofy hat. That's what he gets. There's a treasure chest underneath us, so we're gonna loot that. You'll see right here is that we have a shared inventory that goes in between all of our characters. We've gotten a grenade. If we throw this, it's pretty much the same thing as the attack that Private Bumble uses. The only difference is that, I don't remember, I think it costs you an AP. There's some difference though. It still doesn't kill AoE targets. I think it's basically just a grenade that anybody in your squad can use rather than having to swap over to your AoE guy. I'm gonna have my shotgunner, Private Bumble, come out here. And you can have them swap spaces. What you'll notice is that deducts AP from both characters if they have to do a swap like that, so use it sparingly because it is sort of a waste of space. You do want to kind of think as though you're playing Space Hulk when you play this game, where rearranging your squad in tight corridors is a bad plan. It's going to cost you a lot more than you're going to gain in most cases. You could press enter to end the turn, and there it is. Bumble is asking, what was that noise? But I think I know what that noise is going to be. It's going to be something nasty busting through the wall at any moment. Oh, and there it is right there. And so we have an enemy in range. If we press the Z key, if you look over here, it gives you kind of a synopsis of what's going to happen in the combat when you use the Z key to fire, or you can just click on them. I prefer to use the keyboard because when I'm using the mouse, I do dumb stuff and I tend to face in directions that I don't like. I feel like the mouse controls need a little bit of cleaning up. They're not quite where they need to be. The game's in beta, so that's perfectly fine. I'm going to fire on this guy for 7 damage. There it is right there, and I think I launched him out into space. Yeah, I pretty much gridded him. I knocked him out, so that's what he gets. Let's break open a crate and hope that he doesn't come back. Don't ask any questions about the physics of all this. I guess we're wearing airtight suits and there's not any suction action right now. But busting a hole in the wall, you can see that this is open space right here that the enemy has been sucked out into. Why we weren't sucked out? Well, I guess we're just not that gorgeous. We're not that popular at the club, so we're not going to get sucked today. Let's go on up this way, and we're going to continue moving on our way. I'm going to resist the urge to kick through walls because bad things tend to happen when I do that. The enemy has had their move. And let's send our leader through first. Now, oddly enough, our leader has more AP in this than our scout does, which I've never seen that happen before, but then again, maybe I haven't been paying attention that well. We're going to grab some more equipment. We've gotten ourselves a canteen, which restores 2 health and 2 action points. We're going to save that for later. In most cases, your characters tend to get one-shotted, so healing items don't really tend to be that useful. Most deaths are going to occur instantaneously in this game, so just bear that in mind. We've run out of AP there. Let's bring our grenadier up. We're going to line him up with the door if we can, but we'll also get our machine gunner up and in here. We're going to do our best to stick together because an isolated Marine is a dead Marine in this game. You get XP every time you open up the doors. That's right, there's a wide range of level ups you could do. Let me hit the P key here, and you will see we can do promotions for any character that we have selective, and it goes all the way up to Sergeant. So you can, in the first level, for example, for the Scout, you'll get second skin, which means that half of your max AP counts as armor, which makes him a little bit more resilient. Opposite of that, you can take Scoped, which means that a shot that has 100% accuracy and does +2 damage, so it just makes him hurt a little bit more. In my experience, you probably want to go with the armor because this guy is just so expendable with his current configuration of points. He dies very, very easily. We can also, well, sometimes you can take the paintings off the wall and they'll give you bonuses. Now, what is this green grid on the floor? That's the elevator, and that's the goal. That's what we're trying to get to on every level, is we're just trying to get to the elevator. But because we haven't gained a whole lot of XP here, I think we should probably hang out and kill a few monsters. So let's do that first. I kicked down a door on accident. It's alright. Now you see this door right here? It's got a C4 plastic explosive on it. If you open that door, it's going to do an AoE explosion that will probably kill everyone in a wide radius. Let's end our turn and we'll let the bad guys maybe open that door. Oh, I forgot that Bamble was in the range, so we may want to give Bamble a little bit of healing here before we go much further. Bamble does have the coolest helmet in the entire crew, so there is that to consider. I've always been one of those people that votes that aesthetics are the most important thing. I always pick the characters that look the coolest because I'm a trendy douche like that. But anyways, we're in our first combat here. I am going to, they've got 3 APs, so we've got some things to think about. Let me see what I can do with Bimble. Okay, so there's a lot of enemies in here. We're going to want to think about our positioning right now because our positioning is very, very precarious. It's a bad spot to be in. In the next turn, you can see that the enemy's AP is apparent to you. In the next turn, they are going to be able to close with us, and they hurt like hell. These particular gentlemen are called brutes, and they just punch you in the face. That's all they do. They love themselves a good scrum, and they're going to practice the fisticuffs using your cheeks as the target, and they pretty much kill you with one hit, so you do want to keep them at arm's length, or at least at rifle's length if you can pull it off. First things first is let's get Bamble out of the way. I'm going to have him take a shot, and he's done 3 damage with a 50% chance of hitting, which is a little weird. We're going to back him off a tad, and then we're going to activate his laser sight. By pressing the C key, you can add different configurations of your weapon, a flashlight, a laser light. The laser sight is going to give him plus 15% accuracy from here on out. It did cost us an AP to activate it, though. Other characters that I would think about backing off, I'm going to have my leader. Well, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and use our Grenadier first. So our Grenadier is going to fire a shot there, and that's going to deal damage to our leader. Luckily it missed. I was doing something bad. Oh, it didn't miss. It just didn't update the numbers in time. Okay, so we have 2 guys who are wounded right now. We're going to have to deal with that. I'm playing very badly already. As you can see, things can go poorly very, very quickly. And I'd like to get... There we go. We've killed the guy that was center stage, which is good because he was the one that was a threat to us. The rest of them have 3 AP, so we want to be careful about the way we engage. He can take a shot at him, so he's now dead. With our sniper, things to think about. There are a lot of robots in here, so we're going to flank and spank right there. Flanking shots do more damage, and if you can shoot from behind, you get an instant critical attack. Let's bypass the turn, and we'll let the enemy come at us for a moment because none of them have the AP to close with us. I'll have him take a shot there, and as you can see, the scout does loads and loads of damage. He is pretty much the guy you want to go to if you're trying to DPS at any given moment, or DPT if you wanted to be really specific. I'm going to have him fire a few grenades into that room. He's now at 1 HP, so if you see this robot right here, we cannot kill him unless the grenade goes straight and hits him. The AoE damage won't take him out, so that's something to think about. I'm going to make a little bit of space for Bamble, and then we're going to use our canteen to give him a little bit of extra AP. I'm going to leave him right there so that the enemy can only get to him within 3 moves, and we're going to end the turn. And so there it is. The brute is now lumbering towards us. And each level, so this game is kind of subdivided into different decks. You've got command, medical, armory, and each different deck has its own enemies. I'm not very good at the game, so I've barely made it out of command, but I will tell you the enemies get way, way worse as you go along. They get ranged attacks, they get grenades, they get sprints, they get tons of AP and melee. It's bad. It's bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you guys. It gets really, really ugly, and the game becomes very, very difficult. Now, the game does feature a system which rates you on how much better at the game you're getting, which is really, really cool. It's a feature that I like. There we go. We've aced that unit. Let's jump on up to our scout, and we'll see if we can't get rid of that guy. We did. Let's get some treasure. Treasure bath! And so we've gotten 602 credits, and we've gotten a couple new items. We've got an hourglass, which gives all of our squad AP, but as a downside, the enemies also gain AP. We've gotten the PDA. What the PDA does is it tells you how many enemies are left on this floor, so you don't go around hunting and kicking down walls unnecessarily. And then, of course, we've got a couple of grenades left. I think that's a grenade as well. The grenade is by far the most common item you're going to be finding. There are loads and loads and loads of them. It says there's a threat ahead, but I don't see it, which is bad. Anytime the enemy sees me, but I don't see it, makes me very, very nervous. So let's end the turn and hope that nobody gets their balls ripped off in between here and the next engagement. Okay, our balls remain intact, which, judging from the fact that I think our Marines are all male, I don't know, I haven't had them drop trow or anything. I'm just assuming because the names that they come with are all sort of male, I guess. I could just be being chauvinistic there, but whatever. Let's continue moving through some of these different areas. And I can see, oh, okay, we were seeing them through the cracks. So if you look, the wall is busted down here and they can see them through the porthole. So there is kind of a line of sight system in play. Let's go over to Private Bumble. We'll break that down. Ah, new canteen. So let's heal him a tad. Oh, he doesn't have any AP left to use the canteen with. So it looks like there's a preliminary 1 AP that it's going to cost us to use that canteen. We're going to have this bot. Oh, no. I really hope nothing comes through that door right now. I didn't notice that C4 until too late. We could lose our leader. Oh, the AoE can't kill our leader, so it's hippie approved. That's what the game calls anything that... Any AoE that can't kill anybody but the direct person that steps on it is hippie approved. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just saying that. That's what the game calls it. Let's shoot him with the shotgun. Please don't miss that much. That makes me sad. We will use our canteen to make him feel a little bit healthier. And there are a lot of enemies here to be dealt with. So let's continue pushing them back a tad. And what we can do is there is a guard mode. You can't go into Overwatch here. I am going to activate that by pressing the Q key. And so now if anything tries to come up in front of our character, he's just going to give it a freebie shot and it's going to knock it back a tad. So your leader tends to be paramount. You want his positioning to be best so that it always keeps the enemies on an off foot during their turn. I'm also going to come down in here, fire a few shots at that guy, maybe kill him off. This will also give us a flanking position, so no matter which way these robots face when they get down to this little junction, they're pretty much going to be in a shit position, and that's where I want them to be. I want them to be just ridiculously, terribly aligned. I'm going to fire... Oh, his weapon's dry. We need to reload. Weak sauce. Alright, I don't really have anywhere for my Grenadier to go right now, so as is usually the case, we're going to have him reload and hang out in the back until we need him. Please don't drink my canteen. I don't think robots require many fluids other than like lubricants and coolants, but I don't know what's inside that canteen. We might be robots as well. It says we're Marines, but we might be robot Marines. What could be better? Let's go ahead and open up on him. Alrighty, and he needs to reload because he's only got 3 bullets left. Let's get him back up to 37 in the chamber. And I think I'd like my leader to move now. There are a lot of enemies in here, but he can get away with a shot or two before retreating back to a position that's more advantageous. For our scout, they're trapped because I didn't use my AP intelligently. He's now going to come out into the room. That's good. I'm going to shift people around just a smidgen. Just a little bit. Doesn't look like there's anything down in this room but a dead guy. Sorry, dead guy, you don't have a soul anymore. Or you might. I don't know what happens after you die. I'm going to think that his soul is no longer there, so it doesn't matter if we just call him nothing other than a dead guy. He's like an object. He's a set piece. It's all good. We don't worry about the dead guys. They're gone already. And after firing several shots, we didn't manage to seal the deal on that kill. Over here, we got a 31% chance of hitting. Let's give it one. Okay, so we took a chance and we won. Dancing with the devil and coming out on top, we managed to lead. And what you'll notice is if you end the turn and it instantly goes back to being your turn, there's no enemies left, so you've pretty much cleared out the decks. Let's check this little CPU here. Looks like the crew sounded the alarm from the bridge, and then we got 200 credits as well. There are merchants around that you can spend these credits on. I'm going to leave him right there since that's where we're headed anyways. Let's jump onto the elevator and see if we can't get ourselves the hell out of here so you guys can see the next floor with some new enemy varieties before we go anywhere else. No one has leveled up, which is a little bit of a disappointment because the special abilities that you do get are really, really good and they can change the tide of combat. But for now, we'll just live with what we have. We will be content. We will live our lives with Marini humility. We don't want Marini hubris. That's bad. And so once everybody is on the launch pad here, we can get ourselves down to the next layer. Do that by pressing the L key. I wanted, if people see this, I want them to learn something from it so they can learn how to play the game anyway, so that they know there is a key to do that. And there it is, the L key takes us to the next floor. It'll give us a victory rating right here, and it'll tell us what our progress is. It's saying a D right now because I made it to like the 6th floor the last time I played. So the last time it was like, hooray, here's an S ranking. This time, they're not so pleased with our progress because we haven't outdone ourselves yet. Onward! And there it is, we found ourselves on the next floor. I'm going to try and center up because the game really likes to bum rush you straight out of the gate with enemies that know where you're at. I'd also like to stay away from walls, but unfortunately it's not a 4x whatever room, it's a 3x, which means no matter what we do, somebody's going to be up against a wall. We're going to bypass the first turn and just see what the robots do. We're going to bypass the second one as well. We're going to forego a little bit of score there in order to do a bit better. I'm going to heal Private Bumble so that he's got a bit more health. And let's take our scout and we're going to look up this way. We've picked up a clip, which is really nice because your ammo is limited. We're going to use that right now, and that's going to give everybody a little bit of extra ammo. So everybody got an extra clip. The guy that used it first got a ton of extra clips, and it reloads his rifle, so he gets a double benefit. And let me look back. Okay, so that door is sealed with C4, so we're going to have to bust through to go through that way. Let's maybe think about going southward then with our leader. Doesn't look like there's anything but pipes in this room. So it's got like a maintenance closet or something. And I suppose we will gamble and go northwards. We're going to pick that as our direction, our trajectory for the evening. We're going to go north. Our scout's going to go first. Oh, there's a second door. Good. This room is a little exposed. I'm going to corner him up, and then we'll bring everybody else back in so that they can take shots if anything tries to rush at him. Looks like they're coming in from topside. I wasted a move right there because I didn't know that it had relinquished control as of yet. Ah, there it is. And so we've got one of our new enemies right here. You'll see that this guy has like a purple plasma shield. I don't judge him on the color. I like, you know what, I am Mace Windu all day long. So purple lightsabers are badass, so are purple shields. What that does is if he's facing you, you can't deal damage to him. You physically have to turn him by creating a distraction. So if you shoot him in the side, he'll face the direction that he's been shot from. And so you really want to sort of surround him and just rain fire down upon him. These little guys over here that look like they're shop vacs that have gone sinister, what they do is if they can get close to you, they have a flamethrower, and it pretty much one-shots you. It's a flame jack, and it hurts like hell. It does about 17 damage. There's no way to really escape from it. They are going to close with you eventually. Kiting them is not going to be an option, so you want to deal with them first. If you've got to make a choice as to who to give first, those are going to be the guys. I'm going to back him off away from the door, and I don't think there's a problem with making him a little nook right there. I think that might be a good plan. The other thing that I'd like to do is maybe create a diversion over this way and see if we can get them to blow themselves up on the C4 door. But really the plan that I'm trying to apply here is I want to get my Grenadier out of the way. Because in close quarters like that, that's a 2x2 room, he's going to be completely and totally worthless. He's going to be spraying our own troops. I'm going to try and get my shotgunner into position right there so that when they come around I can redivert his attention back and forth and hopefully come out with a big V on this one. Now, if they decide to come in from behind, oh no. Alright, so we're going to want to retreat crazily right now. Running away is the plan. Our squad leader may be toast. The fact that there's a C4 on that door has really limited our strategic options. Oh my, there's so many here. Let's focus on this guy up front. 31% from point blank, really? You think so, huh? Well, our team is dead. I don't want to be negative here, but unless they can kick their way through some walls, our leader is toast, as I assumed he might be. We might also think about stopping right here. His line of sight is very, very poor. Basically, what's going to happen on the next turn is our leader is going to get flamethrowered, so he's gone as hell. I don't think I can face him without an AP. I think you have to have an AP remaining in order to face them. Which, I wish that would be a little bit different. Picking your facing a little bit downer there, but unfortunately he didn't kick through the wall on his first try. Let's bypass the turn since we can't really do anything. There's the flamethrower. Oh, really? Well, he died anyways. So Bumble is now down, which people dying, that's not a rare occurrence. The episode's just about over anyways. We didn't want to run a super long weekly indie newcomer. I think what I'll do here is let's get him into position to start firing some grenades. There it is. He's killed off a couple, 2 with 2 grenades. I'll take it. Over here we need to figure out how we're going to deal with these shield troops, and the big problem with the shield troops is they flush you out. It's almost kind of a hunting maneuver where they just move forward and it forces you away from your last position. I do wish that there was a way to turn them a little bit easier, and when they're supported by ranged troops, they are truly just absolutely terrible. If they're supported, you are done as hell. I think what I'd like to do here... Oh no, he's got no ammunition left. Another case of me not paying attention properly. I'm going to try and get him away. Let's make sure everybody else has enough bullets to really do something here. I'm going to put him right there so he can kick the wall down on the next turn. And I'm going to leave him there on guard mode. Not where I wanted to be, but I'll take it. So he's done a critical amount of damage right there. And I'm going to back him off because this flamejack over here has a pretty good range. And we do not want to get shot by him. We can't afford to lose any more units. The downside is that I've still not reloaded with my scout. So let's get him reloaded. And with my grenade launcher troop, I think he's out of range. Oh, nope, never mind. He managed to get him. Alright, so our next plan is to kill off these two flamejacks. They are threatening me. I don't like the way they're posturing in my general direction, and you know what, when you posture at me, you gotta take the bass out of your voice because we got a grenade launcher. I don't know who threatens a guy with a grenade launcher. I guess robots? I think robots feel like they have the mechanical stones to do so. You can fire through your own units here. I'm just gonna open up on him and hope that he dies. He's out of AP. I'm gonna have my scout move into position. A 71% chance. That's in my favor. I'll take it. Grenade launcher. I'm going to move him in to deal some damage. He's got a lot of AP left, so we'll just try and kill him off. We'll bypass the turn. And it looks like we've just about hit our 25-minute mark for this weekly indie newcomer. I hope that this has been enough of a first impressions video to give you a feel of what the game is like. I do feel like this game has a lot to offer and the developers are dedicated to making a very fine project right here. So let's talk about the different aspects of the game while I continue to play. With regards to the graphical representation, I do feel like the game has a good aesthetic appeal. They've gone for a pixelated graphic set that kind of reminds me of SNES games. I say that a lot. Or old kind of Amiga games, old games for kind of Windows 95. Things of that nature, games that used to be very robust and still have a nice graphical offering. I do like what they've done. It's unique enough to where you can distinguish the game from other games. So for example, you're not going to get Steam Marines mixed up with Dungeons of Dreadmore, and I like that. I don't like it when games kind of copy each other's style. With regards to the audio, it's the plinks and plonks and bangs and booms that you would expect. The soundtrack is a little repetitive, but I think it does change in between decks, not in between floors, but you will hear something different here and then. Control schemes, you're going to have to deal with a general learning curve, but it's not so bad as what you might face when you start playing Powder or Stone Soup, for example. The game is a roguelite, and there's probably about 10 to 11 keys you're going to have to learn if you want to go through things quickly. Mouse support is lightly implemented right now. I hope that they give you a new UI later on with maybe some icons over here on the right so that you can click between your character's stats, how much ammo they have left. But as of right now, actually I think you can. Never mind, I'm an idiot. You can click down here. There it is! I knew if I looked. Why does this always happen in the middle of episodes? Why does this always happen in the middle of episodes? But anyways, mouse support is a little weird right now. I prefer to play with the keyboard, but that might just be my bias from playing other roguelikes. As of right now, if I had to say whether or not this game was worth a purchase, I would say that they've got a pretty robust product here already. For $9.99, you are going to get a lot of gameplay. I've only been through like the first 5 or 6 floors, which only got me through 2 decks, and there are 4 to 5 decks I think that you can play through. And there is a final boss as well. The game is very difficult. If I had to place the difficulty, I would put it right around that Sword of the Stars, The Pit roguelite that they put out a little bit ago, where it's going to task you a little bit. You're going to have a little bit of a problem if you're playing with the default group. I do think there are some general balancing issues that need to be taken care of. Certain characters kind of act as carries and aren't very good until they've leveled up a few times. And the Scout, aside from having limited ammunition, seems to be the class that I like to bring to everything. If you bring 3 Scouts and like a shotgunner, you should be more or less fine throughout the entire game. Then again, on the really, really low decks that I haven't experienced yet, I might be proven wrong. So anyways, this game is Steam Marines. My name is Splattercat, and it was created by Worthless Bums. If you're interested in buying the game, I've got all the information down below in the description. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give it a little bit of a like. It's $9.99, and I will see you guys next time. I believe there is a Greenlight campaign as well, so let's help these guys get onto Steam because this game deserves it. It's a tight product, and I like supporting indie devs like this. Take care out there, everybody, and I will see you next week.